Good morning, I am Mr. Ish. You are joining me for an important video here on range. We're going to be analyzing how we can determine range from a graph. Remember, range are your valid outputs, your y values. If you had a given function and you put some input in here, whatever you got out here in terms of your output, that exactly is your range. When you're trying to determine range from a graph, you should always be looking at this. From the lowest point, the down, up to the highest point of your curve, and we'll say down to up. You always look from down to up and you see how far below your curve goes and how far up it goes, and you always focus here on the y values. Look beyond what your graph is actually showing you, because it may be exceeding the visual depiction of your curve, and you have to think beyond what you're seeing. The most important aspect of range, so you have to look from the lowest to the highest extent and always focusing on the y values. If you have a specific curve which looks something like this, right over here, you know this is going to keep going here towards infinity, this will keep going here towards infinity, but what could the range be? The lowest extent in terms of y value, it's never going below the x-axis, so in terms of y value, it's 0. And in terms of the highest extent y value, again, it's infinity. So 0 comma infinity would be a good value for this range. However, if supposedly you're looking at a complete curve of a hyperbola, now the range is slightly different because you have two different curves in the same example to evaluate. When you're looking here, you're going from down up to the highest point, down to up. You're looking here, for this part it's minus infinity coming right up to here, and then it breaks. And in terms of y value, these are again minus infinity up to 0. You have that break, then from 0 it picks up and it goes back up, 0 up to infinity, and this here would be a good value for your range for this curve. Let's look at some useful examples in terms of questions, and we will make this video more beneficial for you. Our first question has two parts. We have to analyze the range for both of these depictions we have. When you're looking here, you're seeing a parabola, and it seems to have a vertex here at 0 comma minus 3. So when you're looking at the range, you're looking from the lowest to the highest extent, from down to up. In terms of the lowest extent and always the y values, we're seeing minus 3, and then it's going up here towards infinity. So that would be the range. Here you must put a square bracket because the vertex here is at 0 comma minus 3, and the minus 3 in terms of the range value would very well be included into this value. In terms of the range, the y value minus 3 falls on the curve. So that right there is done. How about this? This looks like a cubic function which is slightly shifted up. In terms of the range from the lowest to the highest extent, the range would be minus infinity up to positive infinity, and that right there would be a good acceptable value for this question over here. Okay, let's look at these two last parts of this last question over here. We have to analyze the range in each case. We'll start with this right here. If you're looking from the lowest to the highest extent, we have to look again from the bottom, and for focusing on this curve, we're only looking at the y values. We're coming here from minus infinity, and then we come and we stop right here at this point, which we look across is a minus 1. But that point actually falls on the curve in terms of the range value, the y value, so you use a square bracket. Then from here we jump up to this point right here, and then we go up. This point right over here is what? It'll be 1, positive 1, square bracket, and going up to infinity, and this right here would be your range for this function we have over here. Minus infinity to minus 1 including minus 1, and then jumping up to 1 including 1 and going up to infinity. This question here is not too hard. In terms of the range, you're looking from the lowest to the highest extent. The highest extent is right over here, and you look across, you know this value here is a 3 because you're focusing here on the y value. The range over here is you're coming from minus infinity, the lowest extent, and then you're going all the way up to the vertex of this function, which is 3, and that value happens to fall on the curve. So this is your range, and it's a good answer. This right here is a good answer. And with that, we end this video. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.